That is the last thing you want to say to your boss or really anyone in HR when you quit your job. Even if you think you have every reason in the world to do just that, it makes no sense. It makes no sense to leave a job in anger and really in any ridiculous manner. But there is a right way to quit your job. And in this video, I'm going to give you my 10 tips. 10 tips that'll tell you how to quit your job when you're over 50. And that, my friends, that's up next. Welcome back to Over 50 TV. Now, if I've never met you before, my name is Lou Reyes. I'm the publisher of our channel. On this channel, what we do is we provide the latest work and money news for people who are over 50. Now, before the break, I said that there is a right way to quit a job, and there is certainly a wrong way. In this video, what I want to do is I'm going to share with you what I believe to be the right way to quit your job. I'm going to share with you 10 tips, 10 things I believe you should do before you quit your job. And we're going to start with number 1. Create a plan. And I think this is the most important thing that you can do when you decide you want to quit a job. And that plan, it includes a timeline and a detailed checklist. The plan, what it is, it's your roadmap, and it shows you what you need to do to get to where you want to go. The checklist and the timeline, they're great. You need them because they are a way to measure your progress. Now, what I like about being over 50 is that whenever I sit down and I'm going to write a plan, my plan is based on reality. It's not a wish list, and it's not something I think I'm going to do. I think all of us, most of us, are just too smart and too experienced just to waste our time on some fantasy, some checklist that we're not ever really going to use. But create a plan, and the plan, as I mentioned, it's your roadmap. It's going to show you how to get from where you're at to where you want to go. And when you do the measurement parts of it, which as I mentioned, when you measure your progress, it helps you because what it does, it can help you to motivate you to get you to move faster or at least not to stop, just to keep looking forward. Number 2, and you probably never saw this coming, I'm going to suggest that you launch a side hustle. Now, a side hustle, the importance of it is 4 reasons. Number 1, it gives you some extra income, and it gives you income that you can add to your savings, which you may need down the road. Number 2, it reduces your stress level because when you do that, you know you're not 100% dependent on your current job. You're not dependent to earn a living because you've got something else coming in. Number 3, it gives you something to fall back on in case this new job doesn't work out the way that you planned. And number 4, if that side hustle, if it turns out to be fun, if it starts to take off, what it does is it gives you another career option. Now, keep this in mind. At 50 years old or 50 plus, you've got lots of experience, you've got skills. You can leverage those things. You can leverage one or more of those to build a profitable side hustle. If you build that side hustle, and as I mentioned, if it takes off, you just may not want to stay in that new job, and certainly you're already planned to leave your current job. Tip number 3, investigate your employee benefits. And this is such an important step. And of course, it includes finding out how you can maintain your health insurance and really looking at any other benefit, including a 401k or some kind of a pension program that you might have. My suggestion on this, though, when you are looking at this, I would do it discreetly. Maybe go to HR and just ask for any information that they can give you on your benefits, on your health insurance or pension or 401k. Ask for something that you can get in writing that you just want to read it over. You just want to stay on top of these benefits. But really, that's all you need to do when you're going into HR or talking to your manager. Just be discreet. Tip number 4, take all vacation and sick days that you've accumulated. Take that before you give your notice. Now, listen, I know this goes without saying, especially for those folks out there, all of us who are over 50 years old. I think we're smart enough not to leave anything on the table when we decide we're going to leave. But I will say I'm bringing this up and mentioning it in this video because I know that in the past, especially when I was a young kid, I left a job in frustration. I left money on the table. I wasn't smart enough at that point anyway, I wasn't smart enough to go ahead and take those accumulated benefits before I quit. I believe most of you know that already, but that's why we come up with a plan, because you don't want to just leave in anger. You don't want to leave money on the table. Tip number 5, talk to a financial advisor. Now, I think this is one of the smartest things that you can do at any age when you're about to make a decision, and really a big decision, a decision that will likely have a big impact on your wallet. Now, to be fair, I really didn't even think about this step until I watched somebody who was close to me. I watched her lean on her financial advisor before she made really pretty much any major financial decision. And I remember when I watched her, she was going to go ahead and she was buying a new house, and she went immediately to her financial advisor before she signed the papers because she wanted to. She was smart enough to find out from that financial advisor how that would impact her other investments, how that would impact her financially. I just believe that going to a financial advisor is one of the smartest things that you can do whenever you decide that you're going to quit your job. That is such an important tip. Now, I just mentioned that you want to go to a financial advisor, and I believe that's so important because it gives you another perspective, another pair of eyes to look at your numbers. But here's something equally important, a budget. I consider a budget the ultimate roadmap. As long as you consult it and you update it regularly, it can help you, and it'll help you to get to wherever you want to go. Now, if you don't have a budget, now is the time to create one. And with all the new budget apps that are out there, creating what I say is a dynamic budget, it's a pretty easy thing to do. Now, I don't know many people over 50 who use budget apps. There are many people that do, but I believe they're essential to maintaining your finances. Now, I read an article recently, and I'm going to put a link here. It's an article from nerdwallet.com, and it lists what they say are the 7 best budget apps for 2021. And I think this article, it can help you, and I think it can help you to sort through what I say are the app jungle. I'm putting a link in the description box. I strongly suggest you look at this article, but then you do your own investigating. But a budget app, it can help you when you need a budget. And let's say this, I think we all should have a budget, but definitely have a budget when you're planning on leaving your job. Tip number 7, save. Now, if you are living paycheck to paycheck like millions of Americans out there, saving some of that hard-earned cash, it's not an easy thing to do. But I don't recommend switching jobs or changing your careers unless you have some savings to fall back on, or maybe what I will say this, unless you time your job switch so perfectly that you're not going to miss a paycheck. But what I'm hoping, though, is I'm hoping the prospect of getting into a career that will make you happy and hopefully improve your finances. I'm hoping the prospect of that is going to spark you to figure out how you're going to be able to save a few bucks every week. Tip number 8, update your LinkedIn page. As you know, as I know, LinkedIn is such a valuable tool. Most every single person I know uses that platform. LinkedIn says they're the world's largest professional network on the internet, and you know what? I believe it. That's why it's so critical that you keep that page updated. Now, one of the things you can do is you can hire somebody who's a professional writer to look over what you have on your page and make sure everything is just finely tuned, make sure it's freshened up. Or you could even have a friend look at your page. Maybe you sit down with that person, you look at it and you say, hey, tell me what you think. Somebody who's going to give you an objective opinion, of course. But update that LinkedIn page. And I would tell you this, after you're done watching this video, when you come to the very end, I would immediately go to your computer, I'd open up that page and I'd look at it and I would make sure it's up to date, and do that, certainly do that before you give your notice. Here's another tip you're going to want to do before you give your notice. The tip is freshen up your resume. And for some of you who've been on a job for years, maybe you haven't written a new resume in years, you've got your old one. That means you're going to want to blow it up. You're going to want to go ahead and write a brand new resume. But here's the thing. Make sure your resume matches. Make sure it matches your LinkedIn page. It's so critical. You're going to have HR professionals. You're going to have a hiring manager looking at your resume. Maybe they're going to look at your LinkedIn page. So you want to make sure that it's up to date. Now, when you're updating your resume, a tip that I do want to give you is I would have someone else look at your resume after you've written it. You got to start somewhere. So you're going to write your resume, but have maybe a professional resume writer look at your resume. And you know what? It's probably worth the $50 to $100 you're going to pay them to do that. You may have a friend look at it. But the most important thing is when you're doing a resume and you're over 50 years old, you want the resume to look current, like you are, or make sure that you are familiar with maybe the current apps, current programs, computer systems. You want to make sure that you're doing that because people will look at your resume, and especially the HR manager when they're getting it, or the robot that's getting your resume that comes in online. They're going to be looking at that. And you want to cut through, you want to get through those people, you want to be able to present your skills. If they look at your resume and they may think, well, this person is 20 years ago they were on the job market, they won't know, they're going to assume they don't know something current right now or some of the skills now. So let's cut through or get through the robot, get by that robot, and get yourself in front of that hiring manager. Best way to do it, freshen your resume, have somebody look at it for you. Tip number 10, embrace positivity. Now, very soon, as you know, as I know, you're going to be entering a brand new phase, really what I think is an exciting chapter of your life. If your work, the work that you're leaving, if it was negative, if you have hard feelings, if you are angry, it's best to just let it go. Now, I'm not saying you can forget it, and always you want to remember it, because what happens in the past can help us in the future. It's a learning experience. But if you embrace it, if you hold on to it, if you hug it, if it's part of your thinking every single day, if you tell your friends, you tell your family, you tell your coworkers how you got screwed, how things didn't work out, and you're where you're at today because that job didn't live up to your expectations. Well, truly, the only thing holding you back is yourself. Embrace positivity. When you do that, I can assure you, when you embrace positivity, you'll be able to move forward and you'll be more successful. I believe this is tip number 11. So it's actually one extra tip, and I'm going to make this one short and sweet. Leave with dignity. Leave that job when you're leaving. You don't need to leave and shout. You don't need to leave and let people know how upset you are, how disappointed you are with that job. Just leave with dignity. Let them look at you and say, you know what, this person, this guy, this woman, they're going on to bigger and better things, and I am happy for them. When you leave, to me anyway, I want people to remember that I did my best and I was just a good dude who they enjoyed working with, and I enjoyed working with them. So that's my last tip, a little bit short, I hope anyway. But go ahead and subscribe to our channel. Another thing though, when you do that, hit that little bell. It's so important. If you're going to subscribe, also hit the little bell. It's really so important to do that, and here's why. Hit that little bell. Every time I upload a new video, you'll be notified in your inbox. Well, as I always say, have a great day, everybody.